Hello everyone and welcome to the Call of Overwatch. I'm Eric, and in today's video I'll be going over why console Overwatch is better than PC Overwatch. Now, I am a console player, so I am biased, but looking at stats from different websites and seeing more PC people complain on the forums than the console players, I've decided to compile a list of why console version of Overwatch is overall a much better experience. If you don't watch this video all the way through, then don't comment on it. If you get upset, I don't care. Just watch it. Also, if you think I'm wrong, okay, that's fine. Let's begin. Point number one, there's less one-tricking. A video just came out today, a lot of videos actually, about how one-tricks are getting banned for one-tricking. But on console, I've literally never met a one-trick at all. I've seen people who play a lot of Mercy. I've seen people who play a lot of Zenyatta. I've seen people who play a lot of Lucio. I've seen people that play a lot of Reinhardt. Never met a one trick in my life. They've always got a second and third character that they can rely on, because on console it's just a lot harder to overall take a character and master it. The mouse and keyboard provide a much better way to aim and is just be more precise in your movements. It's not a knock on console though, as PC sees a lot more one tricks, and it's a lot harder to gauge when you're going to be playing with someone who is a one trick. On console, it just doesn't happen very often. One tricking is fine, but it's like we don't see it, so we don't worry about it as much as console players do. And I've seen a lot of complaints about one tricking on the forums, uh, on about PC. PC gets a lot of one tricks, gets a lot of people who just complain, and it sucks for them. But on console, we don't see this very often, if at all. Like I said, I've never seen it before. Point number two. A lot of you are going to disagree with me about this, but console is more consistent for everyone. The console performs the same for every person. So if you own a PC, you know that someone out there has a faster and better PC than you. Now, a lot of times this doesn't play a role, I'm sure, but it still does if you're on PC. On console, this isn't an issue at all. All the PlayStation players and Xbox players games will run at the same frame rate and general speed regardless of what extra things they have. Meaning, on PC, you can be a grandmaster level player, but if you get a bad PC, you may be bronze or silver. But on console, if you go from PlayStation to PlayStation, you're going to remain that grandmaster player. It doesn't matter. You're going to have game sense and knowledge and all that kind of stuff, and it's going to perform the same. So there's no reason to be upset about someone having a better PC or a better console than you when you're on console, because it just doesn't happen. Console players experience this way more often than PC players do, or way less options. Sorry, uh, and it's just like console players don't have to deal with worrying about, is my console up to par. If we're all playing on PS4, we're all playing on PS4, and if we're all playing on Xbox One, we're all playing on Xbox One. They're going to perform the same. It doesn't matter if you have the Pro, it doesn't matter if you have the S, it doesn't matter about any of that kind of thing. They all perform the same. The PC, not the same way. Not the same way at all. The PC, you can have a $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 PC that runs so incredibly well that it doesn't matter if you're not that great. You see things before other people see things. It doesn't matter if you can only play one hero. Don't worry, you'll be able to click that hero first. and I know a lot of people are going to agree with that, disagree with that per se, but if you do, just let me know in the comments. Say this is why PC is much more consistent. Um, but I'm just talking about the general experience of gameplay here. Not, is the controller more consistent than the mouse and keyboard, because I don't agree with that. I think the mouse and keyboard are better than the controller, but I think that the console itself performs at the same level as every other console, as regards to PC not doing that. Point number three. This one, no one can dispute. There's less hacking. This point should make itself. People on PC have a much easier time hacking it than on console. Console players just have to be good at playing. They have no aids to help them, like aimbot or any other hack that people use. Hacking on console just never happens. You see a lot of this, a lot of popular videos on Overwatch about, well, this player hacked and they got banned live on stream, and this player got banned for hacking, and this player hacking. None of those were ever on console. It's because you don't see hackers on console. They don't take their time to go on console. I don't know what it is. I don't know if console's way harder to hack. I assume that's the reason, because you don't have the ability to have multiple tabs open, or whatever, while you're playing Overwatch on console. It's almost impossible to take any form of hack and put it on the console. I've never seen a hacker that I could confirm for sure. I played against people who I could have sworn were hacking because their aim was so good or whatever, but I've never seen one where I can confirm it. But on console, obviously, or on PC, obviously you can. Console, you can't. No one can really dispute this claim. There is less hacking on console than on PC. That happens. It's not a poke fun at PC kind of thing. It's more of a, this is why it's better. That, like I said in the last point, this is why console is better. You don't have to go up against people who are hacking, because on PC you could probably take care of it if you're super good. But on console, no, doesn't happen. Number 4. This point is going to seem really, 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 really weird to some people, but there's less high profile players. Now, some of you ask why this makes a difference, because really it only happens, those high profile players are in the top 500. They're very good, but they're only in the top 500. And so why does it matter if these players are are on PC at all? The reason that it matters is you don't have to deal with them. If you're in the top 500 and you're a grandmaster player on console, it doesn't you're not going to be going against someone who does this professionally. You're not going to be going against someone who is incredible beyond belief, who can either carry your team or destroy your team, regardless of how well they do and whose team they're on. Because if they're on your team, you're like, okay, well, I like having pros on my team. Well, that's great, but you're getting carried, and that's because those pros can play at such a higher level because they just have a much higher game sense than everyone else. On console, we don't have to deal with pros. If you're in top 500, that's it. You win because you perform well and your teammates perform well. You don't win because you have a pro on your team who is able to carry you or whatever. Though there's just much less disparity between if you really are a top 500 player or you've just gotten lucky, or whatever, you're a top 500 player on console because you got there yourself, and that's just how it goes. um and the last point, this point 5, there's greater hero disparity. On console, you're more likely to see more heroes chosen at all levels, regardless of team comps, just because we have always seen a counter picking meta. Dive meta is great on PC and still super strong, but on console, you can counter dive meta with more diversity. If someone is running dive, you do not have to switch to dive and hope you play better. Dive is very fragile, very hard to play against, very hard to make it right. If you have a team that knows how to play dive, you're definitely going to win, because dive meta is so strong, and that's on PC. But on console, you see a lot of different disparity. If someone's running a dive meta, well, someone can just run Bastion, Torbjorn, Symmetra, all these characters that are super cheesy to counter that dive. And if they don't, you probably will win, but those characters are just better to use. If they run a Mei, if they run anti-dive characters, Junkrat, whatever. Same with if they run Death Ball, just run dive comp. That's the thing. But if they're running dive comp and you're running death ball, you can still win. There's no guaranteed, like, even if they are very coordinated and very good, if you're very coordinated, very good, you can still win. Doesn't matter. And then um, it's just looking at the hero pick rates on some websites. You can see that in Grandmasters, just picking Grandmasters out because these are the top guys, there's about 4 offensive heroes that are super close in pick rate on PC. On console, there's about 6. That's that's huge. That's way more characters that you can pick and feel good about picking. If you're good at at some characters, you're going to be good at some characters. It just makes more sense to play on a platform that allows you to play more characters than on a platform that doesn't. In Grandmasters, you look at offensive heroes, defensive heroes, uh, tanks, and supports. Supports especially, you see more. Of course, Mercy is the highest because she's kind of still too strong right now. But you see a ton of Mercy. You see a ton of um, you see a ton of Lucio, a ton of Zenyatta, a ton of Ana, all this kind of stuff in your games. Symmetra being the lowest pick rate, but that's because she's kind of super niche, and it's really just it's better. These heroes get picked more often on console because of the fact that we've always had a counter pick meta. If they're running Zenyatta and his Transcendence is destroying you, run an Ana. Grenader, run a Roadhog, take the Zenyatta out, force them to switch, because on console you're going to see Zenyatta Mercy, Winston Diva, Genji Tracer as your heroes, and sometimes a Junkrat. Those are going to be your heroes in Grandmaster play, and in Pro play we saw that a ton. Those were the kind of the heroes that people played, and Pharah was kind of played a lot in the pro scene and all that kind of stuff. On console, you see the hero pool differ. Diva, Reinhardt, Zarya, Winston, Roadhog, all of these, all of those are super viable. Orisa is super viable. All of the tanks are viable in every situation if you run them right. Um, and you can run different weird tank combinations. Uh, you can run. I have a buddy I run with, like I said the other day. He runs Orisa. I run Winston. You can do that on console and get away with it, not um, because console's worse, but because console allows for people to play this different counter picking meta, and it feels better to hop in and say, you know what, I want to play this character today, so I'm going to play this character today. Um, and you see this issue with pick rates all the way down the line, all the way into bronze. Junkrat's the highest, Mercy's the highest. Obviously, those two are exceptions to the rules. They are super strong on all platforms. But console allows you to play at a different character, different tank, and you can still play. I can still play Winston with a Reinhardt, with an Orisa, with a Roadhog, with a Zarya, with a Diva. I can play Winston with all of those. I can play Tracer with any other set of heroes. You can play Tracer and Pharah. You can play Tracer and Doomfist. Like it doesn't matter. You can play those heroes with anybody. You can play Reinhardt and Orisa, and it works. It just works. And now, that was my last point, but I have a bonus one. Torbjorn's weaker. Torbjorn's turret does less damage. So that's my last point. Um, that's going to conclude today's video. I'm sure lots of people will be angry at this, but it's cool. It's whatever. This is one man's opinion, not the whole world's. Thank you for watching. And if you're new and you like the video, feel free to subscribe. And if you never want to miss a video, hit the bell icon. And as always, have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace, guys.